won a Grammy this year for second, right? Third Grammy. So I want to make sure we get people their flowers while they're still here. These ladies deserve them. And then also, Viviana, oh my gosh, Viviana, your mom also gave me a tidbit that your family owns the 10th oldest Black newspaper in the country. That's amazing, right? So I mean, sitting next to Black excellence again, I want to make sure we acknowledge that. But as we get ready again for, what do you all think of the performances? We're ready to get the tickets, right? Well, to kick it off, Viviana from Tulsa, Oklahoma, to now here in DC, and we're about to kick off Treemonisha. Just tell me what drew you to this? I know some of the themes in this are education, empowerment, and leadership, but what most resonates with you, and what do you hope resonates with the audience who will hopefully be seeing you next month?
So I first was introduced to I was first introduced to Treemonisha when I was in undergrad, when I was still back in Oklahoma. I had grown up listening to Porgy and Bess and just jazz standards, but then also as I switched over to classical music. But I realized at that time that was the only representation that a lot of my teachers were providing for Black artists in classical music. So I took my own initiative to kind of just discover other Black composers, other Black artists, and the history of kind of Black singers in classical music. And I stumbled on Treemonisha and had no idea that, of course, I would be in my life as it is today. And so I just remember looking it up, learning a little bit about Scott Joplin, and then putting it away for a couple years. So it's been really great to revisit it, especially with this role. And I think the biggest theme for me, at least, that resonates with me is education. So also coming from Oklahoma, we are, I think, 48 in education in the US. And so education in general has been incredibly important for myself and for my family, just as I've gone on through the years. And so now getting to be here in the capital of the United States and getting to put on this show that at the heart of it is educating specifically young minds and the younger generation, which is very good theme that we hope to bring out within this production. It's just a really, really great honor. And I hope that that also is imparted on the audience.
Wow, so wonderfully said. And I love that you really honed in on education. You know, I end all my emails with a quote from Oprah Winfrey: "Education is the key to unlocking the world, a passport to freedom." And I think we all know all of our babies, all of our children deserve a high quality education. So I love you shared that. And I had a chance to go to Oklahoma and visit Black Wall Street in Tulsa. And if anybody ever has a chance, highly recommend you go there and visit our history, American history, which we know is all part of today. So thank you for sharing that. And then, Janae, I love when the crowd started getting really excited, because you sung something a lot of us know, right? We've heard of the Crucible, we heard the song, but for you, and also Janae, if you guys didn't know, is a former baller turned opera star. So connecting with that, tell me, like, what drew you to the Crucible, and what do you hope that the crowd and audience will take from it as they see you perform, as well as the fellow cast?
Ooh, well, Washington National Opera reached out to me.
Like, make it easy.
When Washington National Opera reached out to me for this role, I immediately thought, what better or worse of a time, depending on how you look at it, to sing this role. So I am an opera singer. We're opera singers. For me, I am at a point in my career where I really only want to sing repertoire that resonates with me, and where I can bring my voice and use my voice to highlight issues and or themes that invoke change and healing. So this opera is that. I mean, if you don't know of the play by Arthur Miller, The Crucible, it's based on the Salem witch trials, and so it's about mass hysteria and not knowing who to believe, and there really not being any law. And so it feels very, yeah, like the times we're in. I'm just gonna say that. And my role, the role of Elizabeth Proctor, she is so dignified in that, you know, she's accused of being a witch. She knows she's not, but when you have basically a whole town against you, it's like, how do you stay dignified in that? And so in this role, I'm very much looking forward to it, because I think there's a lot of layers, there's a lot of depth to it. And as a Black woman in this country, I think there's a lot of parallels in that people have their preconceived notions and judgments, and you still have to be strong and know who you are. So, yeah, this opera it's very compelling. The music is incredibly rich, and the team, I know some of the people, some of my colleagues, they're incredible singing actors and actresses. So I just really look forward to telling this story and hopefully changing, and creating change through it.
I love that. Creating positive change. Yes, I'm clapping up for that. And Janae, I want to stay with you because, as I believe, this is your first live performance practice rehearsal, right? For the Crucible, is that right?
Yes.
My gosh, so we got the special, very special preview, the first time that she's had a chance to do this. Just share, why does that matter? Seeing the crowd out here, seeing the community that's come together to do that with us, share this with tonight, to give this Northwest DC community this preview. Why does that matter to you personally?
Wow, well, first of all, it feels like we're family. I was going to say that. I see some familiar faces and some new faces, and your energy is just really incredible. So to share this piece for the first time, it feels right, because it's hard to just come up here and bare our souls. So it's nice to have an audience that is receptive and really appreciates what we do.
And again, thanks to all of you. We could not do this without you all. So give yourselves a round of applause. We appreciate each and every person who treks here to be with us tonight. And then Viviana, to go back to you as we talk about Treemonisha, what surprised you the most thus far as you go through rehearsals? What are you learning about yourself, your castmates? What's something that we can take from it as you go through this journey?
The biggest thing I think I'm learning is how to lead a room. I'm currently probably other than the kind of children that we have in the chorus, I'm probably one of the youngest people in the room. And I'm a part of the K-Fritz Young Artist Program at Washington National Opera, which is similar to a medical residency where we come to the Opera House. We are there for about 2 to 3 years, and we perform at different productions throughout the season. So this has been an incredible honor getting to play the title role, which is a very great big deal for me, of course, also with this A House. And also getting to be in the room with people like Justin, Michael Austin, who you just heard, and legends like Denise Graves, who are also is directing this show. So I think the thing that surprised me the most is just all the information I've been getting from them every single day, just offhand. Just the slightest thing, she will come and give me a note, and seeing in her eyes the way that she communicates, and because she herself, of course, was this dynamic performer, it helps me feel so much more comfortable as I step into this new role. But it's also taught me as well how to kind of stand on my own 2 feet in this role and not be the young artist in the room, asking questions, being able to clearly communicate my thoughts and how I'm feeling, and also having agency over how I want the story to be told. So that's been really great.
Yes, that's beautiful. I love that agency, and don't we all? Our future is in good hands, Viviana. So we're excited for that. And then Janae, because some people in this room might be familiar with Crucible as a play, and many of us goes to plays, tell us a little bit about the differences and maybe the different understanding the audience will get from seeing the operatic version of the Crucible.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that anything set to music has a different ability to reach people. I think it has a deeper way of connecting with people, actually, and especially difficult topics. I find that when you add an incredible incredible score and musical themes, it just has a way of reaching people in a more accessible way, I would say. So the beauty of opera, of course, also we're unamplified, so we don't use microphones. So the unamplified voice it also, to me, just has an immediate grasp on a soul, because the voice is the very first instrument. So yeah, I think the themes that the Crucible embodies, paired with this incredible writing of Robert Ward, you can't help but feel, emotions, and deep emotions.
And Janae, you've performed all around the world, right? All around the globe. What are you most looking forward to about this performance, especially that first opening night?
I love DC.
That's the right answer for this.
Yes.
Let's stop it up for that, right? We love the art of DC. That's special.
My mother is from Baltimore. My mother.
Baltimore folks know. Weird accent.
From Bmore. She says, guys, be more careful. So I have a lot of family in the DMV area. So every time I come here, it's just a very special reunion. And I think just this time especially, when we need healing, we need balms to our souls more than ever. I just feel very grateful to use my gifts, my voice, to do just that.
So beautifully said, right? When you get to use your gifts for good and for others, it sounds like you're walking in your purpose, which I think is a wonderful thing to be able to do. And then Viviana, to turn it back to you, just going back to the roots, your family roots with Black newspapers, to see this event tonight in partnership with a storied organization like the Washington Informer, what does that mean to you? And why is it important for the arts to continue to partner with Black media as a whole?
It's incredibly important. I don't think I understood the weight of the things that my family did within journalism until I got older and left, and also because of the kind of revival of Black Wall Street. I grew up around it, and my family's newspaper is right on the corner. So when I was there growing up, going to the cultural center that we have there, for me, it was just everyday life. And so when I finally left, and I lived in Texas for a little while, and now I'm here, I've realized the importance, so much of what my family did, and also just the historic importance of what happened there. So being here now, being able to partner with the Washington Informer is, I don't know, it's kind of, there's no words to describe how much it means to me, and also just how proud I feel my family is of me, and getting to bridge that connection, because also no one in my family is an opera singer. So, a lot of them are in journalism and nursing and other ways of caring for people. And so even stepping out into this, it was very unknown to them when I decided, hey, actually, I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a singer. So it's been really nice as well to partner with the Washington Informer, and having them in rehearsals at times, and kind of bridging that gap, not only, of course, with our audience in the EMV, but also just with myself and with my family.
Oh, nice. And the family support, full circle moment. And shout out to you for stepping out on that and being the first in your family. Probably not the last. I'm sure the family, I'm sure you are inspiring every day. And Viviana, I know we have to get you to rehearsal soon, so we're going to be losing Viviana. But before you go, what's the pitch to the audience? Your last thing you'd say for them to get their tickets tonight through the Washington Informer or directly through the Washington National Opera to come and see the beautiful opera performance we know you'll give at Treemonisha?
Well, first of all, I would just in general, of course, say support the arts. As a person on this stage who the arts has incredibly transformed my life, just even from a small town in Oklahoma and being in a choir class, in any way that you can, support the arts, especially the arts in DC and the DMV area. I've had the privilege through my friends, through my boyfriend, who's also a performer, to get really in touch with the culture here. And I've only been here for a year and a half. And it's incredibly, incredibly beautiful. And the community that you guys have here is so incredibly special. So that would be my first pitch to you all, of course, is just support the arts. And why not support the opera? Of course. You guys had a great night. And specifically with opera, it is so touching and is so immediate to you all. We are just up the street. This year we'll be at Listener Auditorium, we'll be at the Strathmore, we'll be at the Baltimore Symphony. So we are branching out into this community and just ask for your support as we do so.
One more round of applause for none other than Viviana. Viviana, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great rehearsal, and thank you for letting us in as well to your beautiful voice. All right, well, thank you so much, Viviana. Fantastic job. But we're not losing Janice. So again, we're so excited to be speaking with her again. We're talking about the 2 upcoming performances that we'll get to hear next month, where we'll get to see both Viviana and Janae, as well as Justin, who was here with us early. Janae, I want to go back to you as we talk about the arts in opera. And I know, raise your hand if you've never been to an opera before. This might be your first one. Okay, so we have some newbies in the room. So for those who maybe have never been, what's so exciting about opera, and why should they finally take the chance to take the leap, take the jump, and get their tickets to this wonderful opera performance that we know you'll be giving?
That's a great question. Opera, like Viviana said, is such a beautiful art form. It's filled with themes and stories that everyday people resonate with. Again, the unamplified voice is, I think, an unparalleled instrument. And it's such a spectacle as well. You have the orchestra, you have the singers on stage. We're in costumes. We're telling this story that I think everyone resonates with in some way, especially the Treemonisha and the Crucible, what we have coming up. So I just think it's a beautiful art form, and also, I need your support. You know, like the singers, we really feel the support when you come out. You know, it's almost like a duet between the performers and the audience, and so it's just as much of as a gift for us as it hopefully is for the audience. I mean, I always leave the theater just exhausted, but completely inspired, knowing that this art form and my art making have moved people, you know, in whatever way. So that's the beauty of live music, live theater, the unamplified voice, and storytelling.
And as we talk about storytelling, take us back to that moment when you won that third Grammy. What did it feel like for you to win it, to be a Black woman in the arts, to be a Black woman in opera, and to know what you represent for so many? Yeah, we can continue to talk about that. Grammy award-winning opera singer.
It's pretty surreal, actually. It hasn't completely hit me yet. But it's not, I mean, I stand on the shoulders of so many. And I reach very high because of that. And, you know, standing on that, when they said my name, it was just like, wow, like this is really happening. And I will say though, once I got on that stage, I'm like, yes, I belong here. I've worked hard for this. I've worked very hard for this. Those who've come before me have worked hard for this. And so while I have won 3 Grammys, I feel like it is, I'm just getting started, really. I mean, it's really encouraging and inspiring, and now with this third one, I'm just like, okay, there's nothing that I can't do.
Beautiful sound. This is the last question, because you also, I know, have to get to rehearsal as well. But as you look at your journey and your story, you know, to this point, like I said, from ball player to opera singer, and I've covered a lot of sports, a lot of athletes. I don't get to do this. I mean, a voice is such a beautiful thing, and you're not wasting it. You're sharing it with us. You're giving your gifts. So as you look back at your story, you know, and we look at what's next, like you said, not yet. I'm going to say, when we talk back to you, it's going to be another Grammy. I'm manifesting that for you. But like, what's most cherished in your story, to your point now, that you really want people to resonate with as they get to know Janae up here on stage? Obviously, you're more than an opera singer. What do you really want people to take from your own story and your journey here today?
I love that. Wow. Well, I'll just quickly talk about my transition from basketball to singing. So I grew up in church. I grew up singing in the choir, AME. AME Tacoma, Washington, 5th District. The other Tacoma and the other Washington. So I grew up singing in the church, playing classical piano and basketball. And long story short, in high school, I was a captain of my varsity team my senior year, and my coach, I wanted to join the high school choir. And so my coach said, as long as you know, fulfill your duties as a captain and don't let that singing thing interfere, then it's fine. And so I joined, I joined my first opera. I was in the chorus of Tacoma Opera. And I worked out the schedule so that I could be in the schedule, the rehearsals for the choir, and make my games and practices for the team. So one day, it wasn't a conflict. I had rehearsal for the choir in the daytime. It was a weekend, and a game at night. And so my mother drove me after rehearsal. She drove me 2 hours away up north to the game. I got there, put on my gear, and the coach sat me on the bench. And I was like, Coach, what are you doing? I have to warm up. The game started, 1 quarter went by, 2 quarters went by. It was halftime. I was in tears. My mother was yelling. She came from the stands, and I will never forget this. It was very traumatizing, actually. Yelled at us in front of the whole stadium and was like, you betrayed your team for this singing thing. You didn't ride the bus up. I didn't ride the bus up with the team, even though he gave me permission to do the rehearsal, blah, blah, blah. So that was the last day of my competitive basketball career.
We get her now, right, in this.
And I turned down all my scholarships. and have had student loans. I went to Manhattan School of Music, but I made the right decision. And I would say that what I want people to know is, don't ever let someone else determine your destiny. Because I was really hurt, but I remember feeling like I love basketball. And I still play it for fun, but it was something deeper, you know? And so I feel like opera and classical music really chose me, and I had the support and the kind of intuition to know that I needed to follow my voice, figuratively and you know, not. So I did that, and I went to Manhattan School of Music. I went across country to New York, and it's just been like up from there. So I think really just to like listen to your that internal pull. And for me, it was God, really. It was very clear that basketball was a chapter that ended in the competitive way. And this whole other love opened up.
Yeah.
And it's just, it chose me. I mean, so, yeah, I'm grateful.
Oh my gosh, so well said. It's so powerful. Because yes,
That was God.
God was talking to her, and she listened, and that's so powerful. It sounded like that moment with basketball became a movement with your voice and the opera. So,
Moment to move.
so very powerful. Once again, please one more round of applause. Today, we're so excited. Thank you to the Washington National Opera, and thank you to the Washington Informer for creating this evening. Again, we hope you stay tuned. Please get your tickets. The Washington Informer has a special code that you guys can get your tickets through, as well as you can get them directly through the Washington National Opera. As Viviana previewed, it's going to be all around the DMV area, so I'm hoping that we get to see you all at the productions. Thank you as well to the Washington National Opera staff that's here. And of course, thank you to all the busboy staff as well for helping us put this together. So one final round of
And thank
applause.
you to Kelsey for being an amazing moderator and host.
So appreciate you all. Thank you all so much. Have a great evening. Continue to enjoy. Thank you all so much. Have a great night.